Hey guys, welcome to my arena rushing guide. This is gonna hopefully be a pretty in-depth guide and mainly tailored for people who want to break into Conquer Arena or just generally improve their arena rankings. While a lot of the information teams here will be the same at Guardian ranks, the difficulty will increase significantly. So we'll be going over all kinds of meta offenses, defenses, targeting / rush hour breakdown, and then a few tips and tricks. Now, let's just jump straight into the meta offenses. It's important to note that there are two general types of offenses with, varying subtypes. That is cleaving and bruiser arena offenses, or AO for short. Within the branches of cleaves, we have the following. We have Lucian cleaves, speed cleaves, dots, bombers, and slow. Let's start by breaking down each cleave, starting with the Lucian cleaves. There are three main variants of this cleave, which are the Fat Lucian, Double Lucian, and Quad Lucian. The Fat Lucian team consists of either a 33 lead or an attack lead, followed by a primary booster, and either Theon, Konomiya, or a secondary booster if your Lucian is fast enough for just a double booster. This team is much stronger the better your Lucian is and more fight sets that you have, but I would recommend avoiding this team at lower ranks or like early game. It is difficult to make your Lucian hit hard enough, especially for artifacts nowadays, to clear a team. If you are able to make your Lucian hit at least about 13,000, this is a pretty good option. But you will want to make sure you're able to speed tune your entire team, as getting cut severely reduces your chances of being able to clear. Next up is the Double Lucian teams, which is personally one of my favorite, but for this you don't need as great of ruins. You would just need like two 8k swift speed Lucians, something like plus 100 some speed. Make sure they're doing at least 8,000. The idea behind this team is that you have two Lucians that doing 8k per card, totaling 48,000 damage. Most units on arena defense will not be able to survive that. The only downside of this team is that you have to be able to not get cut by any double nem will healers, which, if you're running them speed tuned and fast enough to not get cut, then this is a pretty good option. The last type of Lucian cleave is the Quad Lucian. It's comprised of a Jamire lead, Bastet, and Double Lucian. This is a very, very, very strong team against stall teams, but it can be easily outsped, especially with a secondary booster Bastet. You will need to speed tune your Lucians to a single booster and preferably all be on will. Jamire, you'd want to go immediately after your Lucians, and it helps to have them on high resistance and a will to avoid getting stripped and stunned by Junos. Now that the all-powerful Lucian cleaves are out of the way, let's get into speed cleaves. All these teams consist of a similar premise, but the teams can vary greatly depending on your box. The goal is not only to outspeed the enemy arena defense, but to also cleave them, so you will need things like a strip, speed lead, buffs, defense break, and your damage dealer. There are hundreds of different combinations, but here are just a few. Please note that generally all of these run into a similar issue of potentially being outsped or stalled out without enough damage. With that being said, we're going to be moving on to dot cleave teams. These are pretty effective and can be very easily built for early to mid-game players. There are effectively a few variants depending if you want to take the first turn, then strip into dots, or run a slow team so you don't need a stripper if they don't bring any immunity, that is. You will want to bring either a reset unit or tattoo, or a hard CC if they have a cleanser. So up on the screen now, you'll see a couple of the different dot teams you could run. Now let's take a look at the bomber teams, which are very, very similar to the dot teams, but you would ideally want to take first turn. You'll need either Karak, but ideally Sierra, in order to blow up the dots without them being cleansed, or killing units like Triana and Juno, who if left alive will cleanse, or help another unit survive. With units like Molly being used a lot in arena defense, this is actually one of my favorite offenses in this meta. Last of the cleave teams will be the slow cleave, or alternatively known as the second turn cleave team. These teams are intentionally built slow to burn will, and oftentimes have a lot of double shield will units. Most common second turn cleave team would have to be the Tiana Galleon cleave, which usually comprises of, Tiana Galleon, but also Zyros and Alicia for damage. It is very reliable to use up to high Conqueror ranks, so you start seeing more speed teams as arena defenses. Tiana does not have to be used, but it is the most reliable in terms of not only stripping, but also helps with your speed tuning. Up on the screen, you'll have a couple of examples of alternatives you could use, but there are plenty of other units you could use as well. Now, moving on to Bruiser teams. There are a few common teams, but these mainly consist of just very HP or defense tanky units that are able to tank and spank arena defenses. Alternatively, you could bring a lot of sustain and anti-first turn kill units like Triana, Vanessa. While these teams are very effective at low Conqueror Arena and early Rush Hour, they are not recommended to finish up the Rush Hour with, as they usually take a lot of time to clear. A couple of the more common Bruiser teams are shown here. I actually do like using a couple of these, like the Leo Triple Skogel. I really enjoy this team. If I ever see like a Beast Rider on the enemy's team, a Leia, etc., etc. The only issue is if you're bringing this team, be careful of control or high damaged units like Perna. The second Bruiser team is the Xingshi lead, Molly Vigor +1. This is strong into almost any kind of arena defense as long as there isn't too much attack per control or heal break. The only real downside is just the ungodly amount of time it would potentially take to clear some defenses. Now, onto the meta arena defenses, or ADs for short. There are hundreds of thousands of possible combinations, so on screen I'll just show a few of the common ones I've seen while we talk about the different types of defenses. There's generally two separate categories: stall teams, and then what I call SSC, speed strip control teams, which are extremely common, especially just starting out in Rush Hour. So the stall teams are typically designed to be anti-illusion by having a lot of like damage reduction, revives, or tricky passives designed to survive Illusion's S3. One downside is typically these are able to be easily double Illusioned, but double Nem will healers like Ariel or Praha can prevent this if they are fast enough. Even if the point is just a stall, you do want to bring a fire threat just to kill the Lucian so he doesn't get an S3 off eventually. Common versions of the team are the Xingshi Mali, Vigor +1 fire threat, Halphys, Triana and John +1, Vanessa, Harmonia, Triana +1. Now with the SSC teams, or speed strip control, these teams are designed to take the first turn with either 33, but if you don't have a 33 lead, 24 leads can also work, and then a stripper like Triton or Clara, preferably Clara with her better AI, but Triton will work as just a scary high base speed unit. And then also some form of control like John, Savannah, etc. And your last unit can be either some kind of support unit or a damage dealing unit to help, take down the enemy team. You will need both a fast stripper and control unit in order to follow up the strip. This will help disrupt the enemy's speed tuning and, grab you a free win. Common versions of this team are Vanessa, Clara, Savannah +1, Samoth, Triton, John +1, Halphys, Triton, Belinus +1, Sierra, Izelia, Rika +1. While you can use, any other stripper, typically the only ones you really see are Triton, Clara, just because Tiana is, pretty easily outsped with her base speed. Okay. So now let's look at how to go about clearing your list, your targeting, and how we should go about Rush Hour. So here I have a defense set. Let's pretend right now Rush Hour is about to start. I'm pushing for G1. I'm right outside of C3 right now. I have a speed strip control team. So now, let's spend some time going through the list and just giving you guys examples of my thought process when going through the list. So here, the first one, we have a stall team. Very common, Xingshi, Mali, Vigor +1. So something like this, we're going to use a fat Lucian. It'd probably be best for us to use a double Lucian, but for this, we're gonna be using my Fat Lucian. Probably would be safer to do the double Lucian, but fuck it. I like the amount of control that Chao Peng gives me here. Gonna reduce because they don't bring any will, which is nice. We're hopefully gonna kill one thing here. Cool, we killed two. Even better. Save our S2. Okay, hopefully not too many stuns. Nice. Go, and then we just have to work down the Juno. Not bad. Junos have been very scary after artifacts come out. They do so much damage and they just have so much solo potential, especially against a squishy Cleave team. So should be able to clear here then. Oh no, we cannot. That wasn't a violent proc, was it? The fuck? He just slapped us. Okay. That one's cleared. Let's move on to the next one. So usually when you're actually in rush hour, you're going to be looking at the bottom three and then refreshing your list as soon as you have those three or whatever three you can clear. So you'll look through your entire list, start from the bottom. These are the most points you're going to get. And it helps a lot to refresh list with your crystals. So here we got a speed team, another SSC team. So typically you don't want to try to contest speed with a Triton, but I'm pretty confident in my speed, so we're just gonna bring this right into it. The other thing you could use here, you could use like a second turn Cleave team because Triton's AI is not the best, but don't want to risk it. I think we'll be okay with just a Lucian amp here. Of course, if you're going into like C1, they're probably not going to have as much HP, so your Lucian doesn't have to hit as much. Your goal is to kill at least 1 or 2 units. Oftentimes you're not going to be able to cleave the entire enemy team anymore, just because of how tanky everything is with artifacts. There we go, we got another one down. Also, don't feel like you have to clear your entire list when you're rushing. It will hold you back a lot. So here we have another speed strip team, but I see that they have a Savannah as their only form of threat, so we're going to use a Bruiser team for this one. We're going to go Leo, Double Skogul, and Amelia. Amelia will be able to cleanse any defense breaks. Our Skoguls are there to do damage, and we just work them down. I mean, if they violent proc enough, we do lose though, so it's a give or take. Like if this Vigor just goes crazy, then we lose. It's just the way the game goes, but should be okay here. We got our rocks up. Let's try to kill this guy right here. Never mind. Okay, stun. Thank you. Cool. So we dismounted, we killed, and we just work things down slowly. He's gonna die soon. Fine. That's it. That's a GG for this one. Like, there's no way Vigor comes back from this by himself, so. Do that. Get some heals on. And then once the rock goes up, it's over. Just a matter of time before they die. Whenever Skogul decides to get a turn. Pop. Alrighty, let's go on to the next one. So, with this team here, you have speed lead, and then you have a Juno, which even though she is a stripper, typically she's built to spare. So when I see 33 lead with a despair unit, I'm usually not too scared of them outspeeding me. So you could go some like Fat Lucian, you could go some like Double Lucian here. So I think we're gonna go Double Lucian here just to show you guys each of the different teams. I went through my my list beforewards and just kind of cleaned it up here and there just to show what what teams I want. So first Lucian, hopefully kill something. If it doesn't, that's fine. Second Lucian goes in, cleans up a little bit. And preferably we'd want to have killed this guy twice, but it's okay. We will just work him down. Do I want to kill him now? Ah, fuck it, we'll touch you. Ooh, okay. We'll do that. Could have probably waited a turn. Honestly, we probably lost this. Yeah, we just did not do enough damage on the Tyrannies. That's fine. We're gonna go back in here and show the second turn Cleave team. This is the Tiana, Galleon, Zyros, Alicia team that pretty much everyone uses. Usually you want to avoid running Alicia into Triana just because she can sleep your Triana, but just gonna take this in just to show you guys the team. If we lose, that, oh well. It's not actually rush hour right now anyways. So hopefully we can get a few resets here. Hopefully we don't get provoked. We do get provoked. Okay, I think we lose this one as well. They're just built differently, you know. Trying to do that to you. Okay. Man, my Alicia's just not getting a turn, man. Well, I knew the consequences, the risks, and I did it anyways. Well, we could probably take that L. Or I could be dumb and just try to fat Lucian now. So hopefully we can get reset with the Chanpong, but that's not usually going to be, you know, the case. Usually Triana's on will. Okay. Oh, we actually got the Juno. That's I'm surprised about. Okay, moral of the story is just use fat Lucian. Hopefully we can bop you. Yeah. Once he's bopped, it's pretty much over from there. Deuce you, bop you. Fat Lucian for the win, but it takes a lot of stats to get your fat Lucian to be able to clear. So this is the last team I wanted to show you guys. This has a speed lead, but then the rest of the team shows stall. So what it looks like to me is like they don't have any follow-up after they get their speed lead, right? So they get 33 extra speed, but then what? Vigor does his S2? Unlike this, I would just, you know, either fat Lucian it, double Lucian it, quad Lucian it even if you want to, really. And then hopefully they don't cut me because I don't think this team is speed tuned. Okay, never mind. We were able to clear. There we go. Oh no, a Vigor. Okay. And now we just whittle things down. It helps a lot to have your support unit 6-starred, by the way. Like, it's so nice. Because sometimes you'll get down to the wire where it's like your Bernard versus a Camilla or something. So this is a fresh list. We're just going to look through these real quick. So here we have... Oh, I hate these so much. I hate ragdoll teams. So they have a speed lead. The ragdoll is going to help push them up. So typically what you can do for this is either you can actually run a fat Lucian, but instead of like a Bastet, you're gonna want to run, where is it, like Theon, Konamiya. That way your fluffer doesn't get a turn. So you'll go, Bernard gets a turn first, Konamiya goes in, boosts up our Lucian, and then we try to clean up as much as we can with Chunpeng. But that team is really iffy. We're not going to touch that. This is just an outspeed comp. You know, you go speed lead, try to outspeed them. For this one, same thing. You outspeed, you Lucian them. Like, these two units are pretty easily Lucianable. You just don't want to have your fluffer attack Ryu because it could mess up your speed tuning. Look at here, we got another stall team. So something like this, double Lucian. Honestly, you could even go quad Lucian if you really felt like it. Here we have another speed team. So this is one of the teams that if you're not confident about your speed, you see Nephthys. Nephthys only has 24 lead. So even though he has high base speed, the 24 lead with our Bernard Samoth makes us able to contest this pretty easily. Here we have another speed team, and something like this where their only real like threat is Savannah. I would actually take the Leo team. It's a much easier win. Next up, another speed, and then another stall team. So something like this. Chiwu does not have a very high base speed, so we can be pretty confident that our high base speed Bernard with equal speed leads can outspeed this. If you really wanted to, you could probably Leo Skogel this, but Fangshun Lao is kind of scary unit. We're just gonna go in here and Lucian it. We're pretty confident in our speed. I usually clear around C3, G1 throughout the week, so like I know generally what I can hit and what I cannot hit. But if my Lucian can clear it is a whole different question. There we go. Lastly, let's talk about some of the tips and tricks to Arena and Rush Hour. So if you're pushing for like C1 and that's your only real goal, you know, you are hard stuck F3, then what you want to really focus on is having at least one good arena offense. You having a good arena defense is not really going to hurt you too much as long as you have one good offense and you learn the in and outs of like what to hit. Of course, later on at like C2, C3, G1, you're going to want to have more. C2, you want at least like 3 or so just to help you, you know, clear more of your list. So you're not stuck having to search through entire lists just for that one guy who has the one arena defense that you can take on. Another tip, if you know you're rushing, you're trying to get high ranks like C2, C3, 30 minutes before rush hour ends, just switch up your arena defense a little bit. If anyone's farming you on your list, just it kind of throws them off, you know, maybe it will give you a win and throws them off your back for a minute. Then again, if you're going, you know, Guardian ranks 10 minutes before arena closes, you want to switch to like a stall team to really lessen the amount of people who want to attack you. You're running like a slow or second turn team, then you want to avoid those SSC teams, you know, the speed strip control teams. They do a number to you if you're running a slow team, but you also look for teams that even if they do outspeed, they have no follow-up. So say they have a Vanessa lead, but then they have Molly, Xingxie, Vigor. You're going to be able to outspeed pretty much all of those units. You know, take that 44 lead, take in that extra damage, and cleave. If you don't have Will on your Lucians, highly recommend avoiding teams with like Amduats or Antares, as they can luck sack you really hard. Then any ADs that you see that have Leo, you can freely get first turn with just a double Nem Will Megan. She can be 5-star for all it cares. Even if at Leo Lucifer, that's a free cleave. Take that. When you see that, you thank RNGs for the free one. So I'm just gonna show you guys quickly like some of the things that I use. So these are the different arena offenses that I use. Like I've gone over pretty much most of these, like what each of them do. So you see the second turn cleave at the top. See my Leo Skogel for any like Beast Rider teams. My speed contest team. Then I have a bomber team. This team I like to use heavily into Molly, Xingxie, Vigors. Actually, exactly like teams like this, except Juno is a scary motherfucker that I don't take this into. Basically, you strip, you reset with the Ganny, you bomb them, you reset the Dover, you bomb them again, and they're dead after that. Then I have a Pungbeck team that I like to use whenever there's like squishy units like Samoth, Lead, Miho, and then +2. I got my double Lucian team, my quad Lucian team, my fat Lucian team, and then I have this kind of bruisery team that I use for a very, very oddly specific arena defense up in Guardian ranks. Just it works if they have like a Miho and then other tanky units with them. And then my last one is my Leo counter team. If I see any Leos, this is what I take immediately. You look at the Megan, she does not have good stats. She's not fast. All that matters is the set. She's Nemesis Will. She can take a hit from a Leo. That's fine. And then I have Tion. He's kind of fast, but he's mostly there for just boosting up my Lucian in case I have anything like Ragdoll that boosts them up. But you can also run like a Konamiya. You could run them honestly on just complete will. On like triple fights, doesn't really matter. My Chroma, my Rocky. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So just a quick note here before we finish up the video. You know, just talking about speed. So a lot of people, you know, we run a speed lead booster team, and people always ask me like what speed should be their booster. Like it helps to get them as fast as possible. Like you'll always need to be faster regardless of like what point you are at the game. But so when we're talking about like D1 rushing, usually you could get away with anything from like plus 160. I mean, and then there's no real upper limit to how fast will be useful to you. But if you're running something like, you know, your main booster, you want him as fast as you possibly can make him, right? You can get away with like plus 160. As long as you know what to hit, you can get away with plus 160. And then this is my second turn unit. She's a little bit faster than she really needs to be, but like plus 100 speed on like your second turn units are fine. The more important things that I really wanted to focus on this guide is teaching you guys what you guys should be hitting and basically the thought process behind like what needs to be hit. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching this video. If you guys have any questions for me, you know, I have my info down in the description with my Discord. I'm always free to help anyone who needs it, and you know, hit me up during whenever I stream on Twitch at Mondays, Wednesday, Fridays at 8 p.m. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Hope to catch you the next time.